The RMB has bucked the emerging market trends so far this year, registering a small but notable gain against the US dollar, and that's despite plenty of bad news coming out of China. Joining me to discuss this is Sasha Tihani, currency strategist at Scotiabank. So Sasha, so far this year, it's been pretty strong, the RMB. What's been going on?
Yeah, definitely surprisingly strong, in fact, particularly when put in the context of the recent emerging market and emerging market Asia asset price meltdown, of course brought about by the Fed. I think this is very much reflective of just the general overall policy tact of the Chinese authorities in maintaining a much less volatile and more stable currency for macroprudential purposes and also for just general economic stability.
I mean, the peg's the obvious thing that sets apart the renminbi from other Asian currencies. But how have sort of inflows, capital inflows and outflows, how has that influenced the movement of the currency?
Definitely, we have a US dollar relationship there. Someone called it a dirty float of some sort. There is variation within a trading band, and during periods of time this year, in particular, the renminbi has pressed up against the strong side of that trading band, or becoming limited in the amount it can appreciate within that band. And obviously this has been quite a bit reflective of inflows, and actually probably a lot reflective of so-called portfolio inflows that normally would be coming through a portfolio account if China had a more porous portfolio account, but have been hidden as current account inflows over invoicing and exports and these sorts of things.
The government has tried to crack down on fake invoicing. The equity markets have had a terrible run in the last month. Does that mean we're starting to see outflows, and does that put pressure on the currency sort of looking into the future?
We have seen, since I guess the worst part of the volatility in Asia came upon us, less of a pressure for renminbi appreciation. Within that trading band we spoke about, there has been a bit more space opening up, and it hasn't been hugging against the strong side of that band as consistently. So from that point of view, we can at least assume that the government's measures in discouraging exporters from over-invoicing have worked to some degree, but we can also assume that perhaps the inflows haven't been as strong either, and perhaps we've seen a little bit of net outflow.
I mean, one thing that makes the Chinese currency unique in the region is the ability of policymakers to guide it higher, guide it lower. And it seems they've been guiding it higher despite very weak export markets and fears about the sort of liquidity within the banking system. I mean, what does that tell us?
We have to change how we think about the valuation of the renminbi vis-a-vis the last decade, perhaps. So very much less in terms of a variable tied to trade competitiveness and Chinese growth, because obviously the Chinese growth model is shifting, intentionally so. What you see, or at least what the stability and appreciation of the renminbi during this period of high financial market instability tells me, is that we should start thinking of the renminbi more as a variable related to macro financial stability and macro financial risk rather than anything else. I think during this period of economic transition, growth momentum slowdown, and indeed high financial market volatility, the last thing the Chinese are going to want to do is give the financial market the impression that they're going to pursue a policy of depreciation, because that can then spur in itself financial market outflows and so-called hot money outflows, and potentially be destabilizing for the banking system and financial sector and perhaps even the real estate market.
So, sort of across the rest of the year, I mean, what's your outlook for the currency?
We were targeting something about around the range of 610 by the end of the year in dollar CNY, and I think this is still a level we're comfortable with. Of course, that implies much less appreciation from current levels. We don't expect to see the pace of appreciation that had been the case in recent months to be continue throughout the rest of the year, but we still see positive current account and positive capital account dynamics still supporting the currency on a fundamental basis.
Sasha, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And for more on the renminbi and all other Asian markets, go to ft.com/markets.